Welcome back to our last part of the weekend debate. I thought with yourself here, Brian, we should just have a reflection about tourism and obviously the Mount Murray. This is part of your life, a major part of your life.
Yeah.
So, that in itself was quite an undertaking in its day to get that built, wasn't it? I mean, it had its whiffs of scandal about that, didn't it?
There was a load of rubbish.
Oh.
Right. Let me tell you, I'm not trying to whitewash anything. If there'd been backhanders and if there'd been all this, as has been suggested, I'd have been in the centre of it. Right. I'd have been there. And it's the kind of thing that does happen in certain places, let me say. But we spent millions chasing rainbows over Mount Murray. But look at the design of it. We had to build it in the Manx vernacular and in the Bailey Scott. We had to have a slated roof, which was approved, and the materials approved by Dalby and by the fire department and everything. It burnt like hell. Everybody was really pleased when we were using these recycled slates, because that was the buzzword, recycled. Right. Turns out they were recycled from car tyres. They're incendiary bombs. But anyway, that was all approved. Now, it's been rebuilt again, and it looks a bit like the energy from waste plant. It's like an industrial estate.
Yeah, it's got a tin roof, isn't it?
It's a tin building. It's a shed.
Isn't it like anything like Summerland 1, Summerland 2, they rebuild it in such a higher degree of
Summerland,
safety.
Yeah, Summerland. The fire was in 1974,
yeah.
from memory.
Yeah.
And look at the state of the site, And there's Section 14 orders going on people for not keeping their property up to standard because it looks a bit of a sight from the road. Well, I can tell you where there's one.
Would you invest in the Isle of Man with hotel building again or anything like that? What do you think? Let's talk about the future of tourism.
In the Isle of Man because he wanted something to play with. Mount Murray was an infinitesimally small part of his business. When you've got as many shopping centres, one of which Walkden, you could put Mount Murray into Walkden shopping centre 5 times over. You could put Mount Murray and its car parks and facilities and golf courses.
Was it his plaything? So did you see a nice place in South Africa? And he modelled it on it or something. And he told me one of those times.
Well, he had all
so
sorts
it's
of
plaything.
It was his.
But he got money. He got grants. He got money from the government, right?
No.
Okay.
What grants?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I just assumed there was.
He didn't get any grants. He got a tax break.
Right.
But he didn't get any government money as such by the way of grants. Right. And that was a whole joke, the whole thing. One day, and in fact I'm writing it in the book, and I had to be very, very careful. I can't publish until after several people have died.
If your name's in the book, you're in trouble, are you?
Oh dear.
It's not the blacklist,
and the strokes
careful.
people, I'll tell you.
Careful.
Right.
Yeah, I can't wait now.
Because there's things there that, oh dear. But looking at overall at the future of tourism, we've got to decide what market we're going after. And we've got to follow that. People keep screaming out, well, if it doesn't make any money, get rid of it. Okay, bye-bye Manx Radio. We're going to lose the Tower of Refuge, Victoria Clock. Anything that doesn't make money, cut it off. The island is blessed with golf courses, loads of them. And yet, Douglas Corporation managed to lose about 350,000 a year with their one. They charge the same as everybody else. How do they make such a loss?
Well, it's always been an issue. Why?
Yeah, but I couldn't turn to Albert
Council
and say,
I'm not 100% sure that any of the golf courses make a huge amount of profit in any way.
We took £1,000 a week out of the golf driving range, and if I'd have gone to Albert and told him we weren't going to,
and it's not been running
wash
for 2
it
years now, nearly now.
No,
It's been closed down.
absolutely bizarre.
When you built your new place, that swanky place on the quayside, the government must have come along and gone, "Ooh, we'll help you there," or did you go to them for some help?
Nothing.
No,
Not a penny.
That's what I'm saying. I've always said hospitality funds itself. There's a lot of upfront costs in hospitality, even when operated.
A couple of years ago.
We're not an industry that goes to the government in hand. That's why I'm quite upset this time that when we do need help, especially for the smaller operators and so on, that the government are so slow at coming forward with that form of help.
A couple of years ago, I went for a meal in the Manning, and Keith Lord was there.
The new man.
The new man.
Yes, not before. Okay.
He said, "Hey, Brian." He said, "I remember I spoke to you after I bought this place, and I told you what I'm going to do, and I said, have you any advice for me? And you just said, don't, and walked away."
You love that version of his.
It sounded like him.
It wasn't bad, actually. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
No, I mean, okay, so where... This is interesting. The future lies where? I mean, there's going to be ships coming in more and more, but they don't spend money on your places, will
Well,
they? Really?
no, I don't think cruise ship. Cruise ships. The only benefit I see for cruise ship is to introduce people on a small idea and get them to want to come back to the Isle of Man. You don't go on a cruise ship. You don't eat. You might have a light lunch or something in a.
Well, it's all on board the boat.
But
So
you've paid for your food.
I'd buy somewhere in Walpole Avenue and sell
accommodation.
trinkets, because
Yeah.
that's what people can buy. Little things to take on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, that cruise ship comes in, as you know, in the 70s I was working for Tours Isle of Man. My father is in the coach business, sold out to them. Cruise ships were coming in back then, and we used to provide the buses for them. And they'd all come off the cruise ship, get in the bus, we'd drive them round for a look, they'd go for a coffee somewhere, and then we'd drop them off back at the ship. Don't expect hordes of people going up and down Strand Street and popping in.
But they didn't used to be all inclusive in those days. Now, I mean, I think all ships it's taken for granted. Well, maybe the lunches were, but you know, I mean, nowadays everything's inclusive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's where you with our for me, tourism's in niche, developing tourism for sports groups and things like that. That's where it's not really worked on the island. Like talking about the Gulf, you know, there's a real lot of people that would come over here and do regularly for golf. The rugby tours, things like that, you know. We used to have great visits from students. Remember the student weekend, the student weeks at one stage in the early 90s?
Major
Somebody wants to do what I was planning.
Well, like some adults.
One of the things that I planned, which I hadn't realised, it came about accidentally for Mount Murray, training weekends. You know, when you're trying to bond people together, one of the big problems they have, when you organise, if you're a company, you want to get all your staff working together, you take them away to a hotel, and one of the wives will turn up, they'll drive up, and that takes that person away from the group. Coming to the Isle of Man to do that means that all of your staff are going to gather together, socialise together, and do what the whole thing's all about, and that's bonding.
And your particular hotel and whatever the replacement is still good because it's removed from the rest.
It's removed from the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, even if they go to Quids Inn, they go to Quids Inn as a group.
Yeah.
You know, if you take anything, they're going around as a group. So that's a good sales pitch for that kind of business. Mount Murray lent itself to angling, surprisingly. And that was an idea that was put forward. When I pursued it, I thought, how can you get any return out of that little pond? But there's serious potential there. There's so many anglers that want to just fish, especially near a bar.
Right. So the future of tourism, if you had that hotel still now, where would you be angling? Where would you be looking for your
I'd be
future?
trying to develop all sorts of new markets.
Right.
I don't think it's down to the hoteliers. I think it's down to the Department of Enterprise to be looking and searching out and then trying to find the people to drive it forward.
Okay.
Group tourism is where it is.
And Department for Enterprise as well.
Specialist group tourism, from golf to scuba diving is absolutely fantastic on the island. Of course, we could do with more help in that area at the minute as well. But normal, your hiking and your walking tours, but not just that. Let's develop more areas where we can bring motorcycle enthusiasts over more often. You know, let them see the history of it in other times and things like that.
I've asked about the future of tourism. Not one of you's mentioned the TT, which is interesting. I mean, like it's coming back. It might be bigger. Well,
It will
in 2
be,
years'
it will
time.
be, but
The TT will be. This is the home of motorsport of that kind. You know,
But people have missed it for 2 years. Well, have they missed it for 2 years? This is another debate, isn't it? I mean, will they come
Of
back?
course they have.
They're coming
absolutely
back.
This is one of the
Absolutely.
things that, and thank God they're not going to do the mountain road now. Apparently.
Oh,
Well, I was told. Maybe,
Don't-
maybe that's it. But I was told that the mountain road is going to be put on hold because the amount of bikers that will come across this summer, if they're allowed to, just to ride that circuit.
good point.
Right,
Good point.
of course.
Good point. Yeah.
yeah.
And that will be one of the main drives of tourism into the island this summer. The bikers coming just to be able to see that course again. And that's definitely going to happen. So thank God.
What do you think to the longer TT in 2 years' time, right? An extra day you bolted on?
Yeah, I think it's
going to be massive.
Great idea.
More people for longer, basically.
Yeah. Well, it has become a long weekend, doesn't it, TT?
Yeah.
Really,
I'm disappointed we lost the electric.
Yeah. Yeah,
that is strange when
the world is going electric.
I must admit, it's not there yet. Again, I thought it was dropping for 1 year, but so far I can't see it in that thing. Anything else? So future things for the Isle of Man that you would love to see happening?
Well, for our industry, hospitality training and so on. Let's get people over here and really train. We had an attempt at it in the past.
One of the things
we've got great campuses and facilities here to be able to develop that and bring that, create a whole career for many Manx people in training and hospitality and so on. Come and learn your trade as a youngster.
The problem, what we need to do is we need to keep our young people on the island as well, and encourage young people to come to the island. I've said for years now that we should really be building a big, shiny new university.
Campus, definitely.
Like a big campus.
Well, they were talking about it with the yurts and everything on.
Yeah, but I mean, you need 2,000. You need 2,000. I mean, the island needs 100,000 population, doesn't it? Really, and then we wouldn't even be in this situation here. I don't think.
Well, I think that is now government policy. They have to get 100,000 people on this rock because that's the only way out of their financial crisis.
Yeah,
but then that brings down the question of housing, which is massive stories every week. I mean, I don't know if all the estate agents are getting together to give everyone the feeling that we've got a building boom, but it's
the housing. I've been tweeting all day about the housing market. The housing market just needs resolved by making sure that that large swathes of our property are owned by one or two people.
Yeah,
that's from my point of view.
I don't know. I disagree there.
There's nothing wrong with someone building up a portfolio that's going to support them for their pension.
Yeah. And the Landlords Bill.
But having
the Landlords Bill is going to help us put our rents up. It's going to restrict the market. It's already got us putting together a list of bad tenants. So government tried to force the antisocial tenants onto us. And it's going to kick back. They're just going to have to find places to put these people that just are antisocial.
Right. Okay. That's
and there's been egg all over Tim Baker's face. I mean, I'm listening to the radio, and Tim Baker said in an interview, "I always like to consult with people." So I'll say it mildly. You bloody liar! You bloody liar!
Okay, that's you saying it. He's saying it, not me.
He precluded
Yell at him.
The Landlords Association from making representation.
Right.
He came back to us and said, "You're not a proper registered entity, so we're not talking to you." And they drew up the Landlords Bill.
It's gone on for so long, this Landlords Bill, isn't it?
And they're trying to drive it through with lead boots on by virtue of the fact that they've made 120 odd amendments to it since they started talking to the Landlords Association, which I am no longer part of. I've dropped out of that.
Right. Just remind where are we up to? I mean, I don't. It's not going anywhere at the minute, is it?
I haven't got a clue.
Okay.
They're messing about with it. They haven't thought it through. They started too late, and it's another cock up. It's not going to be. It's not fit for purpose. It's not going to help the homeless or anybody. Housing Matters are a charity, and they're supporting it because they think it's going to be the panacea to all the homelessness on the island. No, it's not.
I'm going to do a housing special, I think. We'll have to do one on this because it's so much going on.
Can I mention that, a tenant of mine that was dropping cocaine and selling it, and an overdose in the back of one of the flats, and we got the police in, and the police said, "You'll have to evict him. We haven't got the resources to look into it."
Right.
Yeah.
We'll do one on housing. To finish with, the borders are opening. We can get the NHS app. I've even downloaded it myself this morning. It's not quite there but they promised us on the opening day. What's going to happen, guys? Are you going to see those boats full of people, like you're saying, maybe the TT people? Do you feel there's going to be a happy end of a summer to you?
Well,
I was going to say happy ending, but you know what I mean?
It could happen both ways.
The other thing that I have seen and I have concern about because of this variant, which is not totally out of our control, that our Manx people will go into hiding.
Yeah.
If we have visitors coming, and that's a concern. I think it's to say, and I've seen it actually in other across the water over there and everything. 50% of the population is scared, and 50% of the population wants everything open and get on with it.
There
That's
is
the kind
something.
so I'm concerned a little bit.
Our government, I feel, have cocked up, let us down, and got their awards for it. And then I look at the UK. What you have to bear in mind with this virus, it's immobile. It cannot move. We have to move it round. If at the moment we discover the virus, we all stood still for 3 weeks and didn't move, it'd be gone now. It's only when you're etching about. If we'd have bit the bullet right at day one, total lockdown, eradicate it, we'd have been through.
You're talking about now the UK, right?
UK,
yeah. Because we did all that and we got rid of it. So for what?
And then the Isle of Man started doing silly things, and it comes back.
Right.
We've got to get it under control.
So are you anti-opening the borders then at this minute in time?
No, I'm very, very pro. Get on with the vaccine. Take reasonable precautions, and we've got to start opening the borders.
Well, that's what we're doing.
But it has to be done in a measured way, and when or if we do have a problem, let everybody know. Don't put a lockdown on. No. Just tell us.
It's not going to be
where it is.
If it's a when. What do you think about opening the borders?
I'm in favour of it, to be quite honest. I do think it's going to have problems, like Andy said. I think a certain amount of people, probably the older generation, might be afraid to come out if there's. They think they're going to brush shoulders.
They're the ones with the double jabs, mate.
And what about
what I've seen mentioned already is the younger ones that are unjabbed. The people that work in our industry, there's a certain level of those people that are concerned that they're going to be put at risk by an influx of people.
And what about your staff? I mean, do they feel that they're okay? I mean, will they be masked up if they want to be? How are you treating it?
Well, to be quite honest, we haven't really thought about it because it's only just been sprung on us. But I would say that we would be masking up.
That's going to be hard, isn't it?
It's going to be. I think you have to. I think we're going to have to have a big think about that. But really, it's going to be personal choice for the staff. And I think. I think it could add to the issues we're having with staffing on the Isle of Man in the whole industry already.
Talk about the vaccine. 20% are refusing to take the vaccine. And how do you feel about that, Paul? I think we should be coming to a point now where it's forced upon you. And that precedent has already been set because...
The care homes.
In the care homes. But somebody I was speaking to is working in Noble's Hospital, and they were forced to have hepatitis before they could actually start work.
Yeah. There is
a precedent.
There has been for many years, isn't there? You got certain countries, you've had to have yellow fever, whatever.
All the rest.
So your choice is not to go.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
This is as bad as the Second World War. It's cost us much, and we're losing lives, and yet we're wanting to keep life as normal. We can't have it both ways.
No.
We've got to find a way through this, and we've got to be able to cope with it.
Okay, to finish with, I mean, obviously the locals are going to go over. I think there's so many people, the pent-up thing of just getting on that boat or plane, but hopefully people are going to come over. Do you think the tourism people are really in full swing to get this Isle of Man marketed?
Well, I've heard reports that some of the hotels are fully booked from July, 1st of July. My father-in-law's got a hotel and he's fully booked, so it looks positive, doesn't it? So
this is the end of the beginning of the end. Fighting on the beaches and all that sort of thing. Yeah. Everything that Mr. Quayle comes out with from Churchill and stuff.
Nobody wants to see anybody die or get ill and what have you. But even with the vaccination that's happened in the UK, I mean, deaths have come down drastically, haven't they? I mean, a handful a day. There's probably more people get run over a day in the UK than die.
Sorry, we had a day in the whole UK where no one died.
There was, but I suppose what happens when somebody who works with you says, I can't come in now with where the isolation period will be because I've caught it. Who pays that wage and that sort of thing in the future? That must be like the flu.
That'll have to be supported by government in some way, and obviously we'd make some contribution to it.
It's going to be like the flu, though, isn't it?
It is really
this is a lot of ironing out to do.
Yeah,
that's what it is, really, isn't it?
It's difficult.
Just to say, you're all for opening on the 28th?
Yeah,
28th. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, well, if everyone's on the Isle of Man by the time we do our next programme, do join us again. Thank you, guys. That was really interesting today. And I think maybe we should just say to people who are watching this, go out, spend the money in the local economy rather than just going to Amazon maybe for things.
Oh, it's got to help us out.
I mean, the general public have been great since we've reopened and what have you. It has been fantastic support. But like we said, they've only got so much money.
Yeah.
You know, we can't expect them to make up for the loss that we've had from no tourists.
Yeah. The Isle of Man is like a family. And if you look at it from a financial viewpoint, we've got a certain amount of money circulating on Ireland to make us all more wealthy, to make us all able to pay for the gas which comes in and the oil which comes in and all the other things that come in. We have to generate income from over there so that this family has got more money to go around.
Okay.
And we can only do that if we look at ourselves as a family and deal with other family members, not Amazon or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, it's hard because it's sometimes more expensive, but unless we can find an incentive to do that, then it'll be even harder.
Okay, nicely put. It's only £1 to get in.
Is that only could get in?
Live
music 5 nights a week.
Still coins?
At minimum.
Who's got,
Still the point.
You have to take things on the door.
Oh, we can work around that nowadays. But I encourage you to bring a Manx pound coin.
Good, yeah. Are you still doing your roulette thingy, whatever?
No, we're not at the moment.
Oh, right. Just trying to help you along there.
No.
Not the minute.
No,
but,
not at the moment.
Okay, well, thanks again, and thank you for watching. If you've got any comments, please leave them. And if you want to be a guest on the programme, you've got a point of view, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the Weekend Debate.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.